This is Emily, who's dancing in the role of the young Snow White. Emily, could you tell me what is your favorite fairy tale?
The Little Mermaid.
And why does The Little Mermaid appeal to you?
Because Ariel is like my favorite princess, and I like to swim a lot, so I like how it's under the sea.
And were you in the Little Mermaid production here last year?
Yes, I was.
What was your role?
I was one of the young mermaids. I was in Italian, and I was a spider.
And do you remember the first time you heard about that fairy tale? Or how it was first introduced to you?
I watched it in a movie, and I loved it.
And what was your favorite part of the movie?
Well, basically, like, all of it, because I just, I don't really have a favorite part, I just love it.
And of all of the fairy tale characters in any story, is there one in particular that you can identify with, or one that you would like to be like?
I would want to be like a princess, because I just like how they're always like proper and like prim.
And do you have any memories from when you were very tiny of the Snow White story in particular?
I think I watched the movie, but I'm not quite sure.
And what's your favorite part of the Snow White story now that you're involved in the production?
I like when the prince and Snow White, they meet and they like get together and they fall in love together.
So for this production of Snow White, I think I know the answer, but what role were you cast in that was most exciting for you?
Definitely young Snow White, because I've never been I've been a big part like Fritz, and it's a big part, and people like mostly pay attention to you.
Right. So could you tell me, you mentioned the role of Fritz, which is in the Nutcracker.
Yeah.
How is the role of young Cinderella similar to Fritz, would you say?
They both have like the same amount of dancing, and it's not too big of a part, but it's like a big part, and you get to do a lot of dancing, which I like.
And so dancing is your favorite part of performing then,
Yes.
right? What is the biggest challenge for you when you're performing?
Definitely, sometimes people mess up on stage, but the audience doesn't know it, but you should try your hard to remember the dances as best as after shows.
How do you feel after the shows?
I feel excited because I know I did a good job.
Right. What is one of the ways you know you did a good job? How can you tell?
I know by when the audience claps and they just clap and they enjoy.
Exactly. That's a good indicator. So when you're not dancing, what are some things you like to do to relax?
I like to read. I like to read because it helps me just sit back and get like what's ever wrong, and it just helps me.
Good. What about the other dancers at Carnegie Performing Arts Center? Are there any interests they have or qualities that you find that are similar, that they share?
The love for dance especially, because I just see them practicing and I'm like, I love dance and I love how it's so beautiful. And
yes, that's something I think they do all feel too. So one last question, is there any other way that you contribute to these large performances that the audience might not know about?
I help with costume fitting. I help little kids get into their costumes after I get fitted. And I help be a greeter in the show.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Emily, for sharing some information about yourself. We're excited to see you perform.